Hey champs, what's up? I am Tripti Khurana. Welcome you all to another video on the channel. First of all, thank you all very much for showing so much of love and support to my first video on YouTube. So I am back with another video for all of you on PhysioBytes. Now let's move into the video. Let's imagine you don't have to ask your parents to pay for your expenses. You can buy anything. You can go anywhere without taking any permissions. You can take decisions of your life on your own. You can do anything you want without being dependent on someone. How wonderful this independence is, right? So in today's topic, the functional re-education, our main motive being a physiotherapist is to make an individual independent. Now what this functional re-education is, as we are getting by its name, functional means related to functions, re means again, and education means to give knowledge to someone. That is, educating an individual something that he or she already knows how to do, but due to some trauma or pathology, he or she is not able to do that activity. Like either the muscles of the body are not supporting or the nervous system due to that particular trauma or pathology is not working. So the functional re-education is just like a development milestone in children, that is the behavioral and physical skills in infants or children as they grow up. Like just after birth, the child is dependent fully on someone, but as he grows, his muscle gets strengthened and he starts doing basic activities. Like in this picture, the child is in supine lying. This picture is showing the rolling position, then prone on hand. After this, the child is sitting. Here the child is crawling. In this picture, the child is in kneeling position. Here he is standing, and finally it starts walking. Now how can we decide the treatment program? This is done mainly by the assessment of the patient, as a proper assessment is a key for a better treatment, and it mainly depends upon the condition and the level of independence of the patient. So now comes the functional re-education training. It includes the treatment plan. This consists of the mat exercises, that is the pre-ambulatory and the ambulatory exercises, or we can say training. The mat exercises are those exercises that can be performed on mat or bed. These are pre-ambulatory exercises, those which are happening before the walking. And then comes the ambulatory training. These mainly include the gait training, or we can say walking pattern training. These are rolling, prone on elbow, prone on hand, then quadruped, then side lying on elbow, after that side sitting, then sitting, crawling, kneeling, half kneeling, standing and walking. This picture is showing the whole functional re-education program. First, as we read in the previous slide, first one is rolling, then prone on elbow, then prone on hand, after that quadruped, then side lying on elbow, after that side sitting, then the prone kneeling, after this the crawling, then kneeling, half kneeling, standing and walking. These all pictures are being in a sequence for a proper functional training. Now let's move into details of functional training. So here comes the first part of integral series of the movement for functional re-education, that is rolling, which is a mat exercise, and it requires a certain level of control over the head, neck, trunk and pelvis. Now how to perform the rolling movement? There are certain steps that completes this movement. So firstly, the individual is in supine lying position, then he or she may flexes his or her head and rotates the neck, and in this we are moving the patients to the left side, so the right arm is moved towards left side to create the momentum, and this momentum of the arm is then transferred to the trunk and lower limb to initiate the movement of lower body. Then lower half of the body will be rolled to prone position by flexion of hip and knee. Then at last the patient lies in prone position, and reversal of this movement can also occur, that is prone to supine lying. Now these pictures are showing the forms of rolling. Like in first picture, the individual is in supine lying. So the first form of rolling is supine lying to side lying, then side lying to prone lying, and reversal of this is prone lying to side lying and side lying to supine lying. Now the purpose and uses of this rolling movement are: it helps to assist during these nursing procedures like in bed making, then to help the patient to gain confidence and some extent of independence, as even a slightly moving of body can boost the mind setup of the patient to do further activities. Then comes the strengthening of trunk muscles. As we read earlier, the trunk muscles are core muscles which helps many activities of the body to initiate, so strengthening of these muscles is must. Then comes the postural drainage. Most of you must be knowing about the postural drainage. The postural drainage is the clearance of the chest with the sputum by changing the position of the patient. Some techniques of postural drainage like lingula clearance, then middle lobe of right lung, then lower lobe of anterior, posterior and lateral basal segments are only possible if the patient can move a little bit on his own. Then lastly, to prevent the bed sores, as by long term lying on the bed due to body weight by pressure, the patient gets pressure sores, or we can say bed sores, on the body parts which are in contact with the bed. So to prevent this, rolling can help. Now the second movement, or we can say mat exercise, that is prone on elbow. In this position the arm should be vertical, that is lie in same plane. Then the purpose and uses of prone on elbow: it helps in bed making. Then in daily life we use this position very commonly for writing, reading and watching TV, etc. Then the creeping and rocking activities. The creeping is like pushing your own body on your stomach, and rocking is repetitive movement of limb and all. Then last one is to improve the upper limb stability, as the upper body weight is coming on the elbow. Now how to perform the prone on elbow position. The patient will be firstly in prone lying position, then places his elbows close to the trunk. After that the elbows are pushed down to the ground, as the whole weight of the upper body is coming on elbows while lifting the head and upper trunk. Now the patient brings the elbow to the level of shoulder, and the body weight is shifted through the elbows to the ground. Now the third position, that is prone on hand, which is a mat exercise. This position initiated in prone on elbow and ends up in the quadruped position, which we will be discussing in the next slide. So this position is attained by the extension of elbow from the prone in elbow position. Then the center of gravity and base of support become higher than in prone on elbow. After this, the purpose and uses of this position. This position improves the muscle strength of the upper arm, as the weight of upper body is coming on the hand. So here comes the quadruped position, which is also a mat exercise. In this position the body weight is coming on all four limbs, and the purpose and uses of this position is: this position is used in floor activities like playing with kids and ambulation when patient can't walk on legs. So progression of this activity. Why we use progression of activity? This is done to advance the activity, to distract the patient from doing that activity, so that we can get actual strength of the muscles by doing this. So progression of quadruped position is done by shifting of weight in forward, backward and side to side direction. Then raising of the upper limb and bring weight on three limbs. Then either the raising of one upper limb and collateral one lower limb, and repeat this movement with other side also. Now the next position or movement we can say is side lying on elbow, which is a mat exercise. This position is raised by rolling on one side, then pushing up with the elbow to support upper trunk with forearm. And this position is more stable when arm is vertical, that is lying in same plane. We can make this position more stable by bending one leg. Then the purpose and uses of side lying on elbow. The side lying on elbow is en route for sitting position, that is, it is a starting position for the sitting position, and it is a very relaxed position like for reading books or watching TV. So here comes the side sitting position. This position is initiated with side lying on elbow by pushing the body upwards by extension of elbow. As the whole body weight is coming on one side, so the body is pivoted on one buttock until sitting is raised. And the purpose and uses of this position improves stability and usually used as preliminary for standing up. As remember any condition when you were sitting on floor, how did you get up? By putting one arm on floor, right? So same is happening here. Then last one is to prevent falling due to support of arm. So here comes the sitting position, which is an important milestone in the functional re-education program, as attaining this position can boost the confidence of the individual to do further activities. So this position requires and facilitates trunk control and balance. So there are two forms of sitting. First one is long sitting, then short sitting. In long sitting, the hips are flexed but the knees are fully extended like we are sitting on a bed. And in short sitting, the knees are at 90-degree flexion as we are sitting on a chair. Now the progression of sitting position, the patient will be initially sitting with support of both hands. In second situation, the patient raises one hand and takes support of another hand. And in third condition, the patient sits independently without any external support by raising both hands. And finally, the patient performs activities such as ball throwing and clapping for distracting the actual activity. Then the purpose and uses of sitting position. The stability of the body increases in sitting position, and this position is important for the activities of daily life like transferring, dressing, wheelchair mobility, etc. So now comes the prone kneeling position. This position is same as the quadruped position we read earlier as shown in the picture. So progression of this position is of crawling position. After attaining the prone kneeling position, the patient can begin to lift one hand or one knee from the floor to balance on three legs. Now the purpose and uses of crawling position. This position mainly helps to build up the coordination of the body and increase in potential range of motion of the joints, as the spine is not bearing any body weight here, and this movement mainly provides safe and effective means of moving from one place to another if the patient can't walk on legs. So here comes the kneeling position. This is the first position in which the body weight is coming on the lower body, that is just on knees, and it is initiated by the quadruped position. So it improves the trunk pelvis control and upright balances, that is the ability to stand against gravity. Here the base of support is small and the center of gravity is higher as compared to the sitting. So progression of the kneeling movement or position is the patient shift weight from one knee to the other, and second situation is activities like ball throwing and kneel walking along with the kneeling. Now the purpose and uses of kneeling position. As we read earlier, this position improves the trunk and pelvis control. So indirectly it is improving the vertical alignment of the trunk and thighs, and we can take this position as a preparation for walking, as most of the time the one leg is bearing the whole weight in the kneeling position. So here comes the half kneeling position. This is kneeling over one leg, and in this position the leg which lies posterior, that is on the floor, bears more weight. And like in kneeling position, there was an improvement of the trunk and pelvis control. Here the pelvic control more specifically is improving, and also the knees movement. And now comes the progression of the movement. We can progress the movement by shifting the weight from one leg to the other and add the upper limb activities also. And purpose and uses of this position is used to initiate the standing position. Now here comes the standing position. This is the most important milestone or achievement we can say in the whole functional re-education program. So this position is initiated in the half kneeling position with hips on hand, and Then the patient shifts the body weight to the front leg and presses the leg into the floor. Now the progression of this activity, the standing on one leg, it improves the balance and coordination. Then adding the upper limb activities in the standing. Now the purpose and uses. The standing position strengthens the lower body muscles and also improves the balance and coordination of the body. So here comes the walking, or we can say gait training. This is the final moment of the functional re-education program, and if this moment is attained, then that means finally we are successful in making the man independent. So some general principles are there to be observed in teaching a patient to walk again. These are, the first one is correct pattern of walking, as faulty pattern of the walking is learned so easily, but this is kind of a pattern which is just a waste of time. Secondly, sufficient support or walking aids must be provided to the patient, as initially we have to add some support in walking, but we can withdraw or modify it slowly according to the level of the walking attained by the patient. So here comes the mechanism of walking, or we can say gait training. I am just giving you an idea here about the gait training. Otherwise, this is a very interesting topic to study. If you want, let me know in the comment section so that I can make you another video. For now, let's move into the gait training. So this consists of two phases. First one is stance phase and then is swing phase. In stance phase, the feet is in touch with the ground, and in swing phase, the feet is in the air. So now some important mat exercises other than these all exercises are bridging, hitching and hiking. Then last one is supine on elbow. So let's move into the bridging exercise. This exercise is not a part of series of movement from lying to walking, but still it is very much important because this exercise strengthens the whole body muscles. So this position starts from the crook lying position, that is lying with knee bent. And the stability of the legs is not compulsorily to be already made. We can establish also by strengthening exercises of leg muscles. Till then we can use wall, sandbag, footboard or to stabilize the leg, or we can use strap to keep knees together. So now comes the hitching and hiking mat exercise. This exercise or movement, we can say, make the patient able to take the weight on the body by lifting the pelvis forward, backwards and sideways, and this is something like walking on your own buttocks. So here comes the last heading of today's topic, that is the supine on elbow. This position is of very much importance for the strengthening of upper arm muscles, and the purpose and uses of this exercise is to prepare the patient for long sitting position. Now how to achieve this position? This position can either be achieved by the side lying position or by pushing the elbows over the mat and lifting into the position. So this technique, this last technique, requires a strong abdominal muscle. So the supine on elbow wrap up today's video. We will meet in the next video. Till then, if you have any kind of doubt regarding this topic, mention in the comment section. So see you in the next video. Till then, stay safe and happy.